Good day, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying this. Life happens. People change. Relationships evolve. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, she wants separation. And in that moment, you have a choice. Not about her decision that may already be made, but about your reaction, your growth, your future. This isn't just a speech about heartbreak. It's about what comes after. It's about you becoming better, not bitter. Let me tell you something that's not always easy to hear, but it's necessary. When someone says they want separation, especially someone you love, someone you've built with, dreamed with, trusted with, your time and your heart, it's going to shake you. No sugarcoating it. It hurts. It's confusing. It might even feel like the world just shifted beneath your feet. But I want you to remember this. How you respond to what happens is far more important than what happens. That's where the seeds of your future are planted. Most people make a mistake in this moment. They fight what already is. They deny. They plead. They panic. But here's what I've learned. The moment you stop resisting reality is the moment you start regaining power. That's the first victory. Not over her, not over the situation, but over yourself. See, it's easy to believe that strength is found in holding on. But real strength is found in letting go with wisdom. Acceptance is not weakness. It's awareness. It's you standing up and saying, I see things as they are, not worse than they are, not better than they are, but as they are. And from that clarity, from that grounded place, you can begin to decide what comes next. Now I know this isn't what you hope for. This isn't the ending you imagine. But you've got to stop replaying the what ifs and if onlys. You've got to stop negotiating with the past. The past is a classroom, not a prison. Learn from it, but don't stay locked in it. Let me put it another way. You ever try to drive a car looking only in the rearview mirror? You're gonna crash. You've got to look forward. You've got to accept where you are before you can steer toward where you want to go. Jim Rohn always said, it's not the blowing of the wind, but the set of the sail that determines your direction. The wind may have changed, she may have changed, but you still control the set of your sail. And the first adjustment you need to make, accept the wind for what it is. That's how you begin to move forward. There's something powerful about standing in your own truth, even when that truth is painful. When you stop resisting, you conserve energy. And that energy, you're gonna need it. Not to fight her decision, not to chase something that's already walking away, but to rebuild, to reflect, to evolve. Because you know what happens when you accept what is. You unlock what can be. You become available to new growth, new clarity, and eventually new peace. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care enough about yourself to stop bleeding for something that's already gone. Let me ask you this. What if this ending was actually the beginning you've been needing? What if the silence left behind was space for your soul to speak again? You won't hear it if you're busy resisting. But the moment you accept it, the healing begins. The rebuilding begins. You begin again. So don't curse the moment she said she wants separation. Bless it for what it can teach you. That moment, as painful as it is, might just be the moment that redirects your life. But only if you let it. Only if you accept it. Because the man who accepts reality is the man who shapes his destiny. And that, my friend, is the first real win. It's one of the great tragedies of life. Giving up who you are, just to keep someone who might not even see your worth. And let me tell you, I've seen it too many times. A man so focused on keeping her, chasing her, convincing her, that somewhere along the way he forgets himself. He forgets the man he once was. The man who had goals, who had vision, who had backbone. He becomes so afraid of losing her that he ends up losing himself. Now, I don't say that to judge you. I say that to wake you up. Because sometimes when she says, I need space or I need separation, she isn't just walking away, she's revealing to you how far you've already walked away from yourself. Let me ask you something. Who were you before the relationship? Before the love? Before the compromise? Before the comfort? Who was that man? What did he stand for? What did he wake up excited to do? You see, relationships are supposed to support your identity, not replace it. Jim Rohn used to say, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And I'll add this, work harder on yourself than you do trying to keep someone else happy. Because if keeping someone means sacrificing your values, your passions, your peace, then that's not love, that's neglect, and not hers, yours. You see, the more you shrink yourself to keep someone else comfortable, the more you teach yourself that your needs don't matter, that your dreams can wait, that your standards are optional. And what starts as compromise becomes identity loss. And here's the truth. If she's walking away, maybe the real issue isn't that you're losing her. Maybe it's that you've already lost yourself trying to keep her. Now I know that's hard to admit. I know it's easier to point fingers and replay conversations. But if you really want to heal, if you really want to grow, you have to look in the mirror and ask, when did I stop showing up for me? Don't get me wrong. Love requires sacrifice, but not self-destruction. There's a big difference between adjusting and abandoning. You can grow together, but you should never have to disappear to be loved. Now here's the good news. When she says she wants separation and you feel like everything's falling apart, maybe it's finally falling into place, because now you've got a chance to go back to the source, to revisit the man you were before you tried so hard to be everything for someone else. Use this space not to chase her, but to rediscover you. Reconnect with your purpose. Reignite your fire. Return to the disciplines, the habits, the mindset that once made you magnetic, not because you were trying to be chosen, but because you chose yourself first. Let her go if she must. But don't let go of yourself. Don't forget who you are, just because someone else forgot what you're worth. The man you need to win back right now isn't her, it's you. And when you stand back up, rooted in clarity, purpose, and strength, that's when healing begins. That's when the pain turns into growth. That's when you stop needing approval and start walking in power. So remember this. You can lose a relationship and still win your life, but only if you stop abandoning yourself. Because when you hold on to you, no one walking away can ever take the best parts of you with them. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers, but only if you let it teach you. Now I know that's not what you want to hear when your heart feels like it's been ripped out. When someone you loved, someone you invested in, someone you thought would always be there, walks away. But let me tell you something that's helped more people than you can imagine. Pain can be either your prison or your platform. You don't get to choose whether or not you feel it. You will. You don't get to skip it. You've got to go through it. But what you do get to choose is what you build with it. Jim Rohn used to say, don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. And I'll say this, don't let your pain lead to bitterness. Let your pain lead to productivity. See, pain carries power. The problem is most people waste it. They sit in it, wallow in it, replay every moment, every word, every tear. But pain is energy, and energy is never meant to sit still. It's meant to move. And if you don't move it forward, it will pull you back. You have to make a decision. Either your pain becomes your excuse, or it becomes your engine. You can cry. Sure, you can feel it. You should. But don't just feel it. Fuel it. Use it to wake up earlier. Use it to push one more rep. Use it to get laser focused on your goals. Use it to finally take yourself seriously. Think about the people who've achieved incredible things. Not in spite of pain, but because of it. That's the fire. That's the trigger. When life hits hard, don't hit back with anger. Hit back with purpose. Let me give it to you this way. Most people want motivation before they take action. But the truth is, pain can be the most powerful motivator there is. the pain of regret, the pain of loss, the pain of being overlooked or left behind. It's real, but instead of drowning in it, stand on it, build on it, rise on it. You say she left? Good. Then use that pain to build something so strong, so steady, so solid, that the next time life tries to shake you, you won't even blink. Use that pain to finally become the man you kept promising yourself you'd be, not to prove her wrong, but to prove yourself right. You know what's dangerous? Wasted pain. Pain that turns into resentment instead of results. Pain that eats away at your spirit instead of building your strength. And the only way to stop that from happening is to channel it, direct it, give it a job. Let the pain push you into new routines, into new standards, into new disciplines. Don't let heartbreak make you soft. Let it make you sharp. Let it wake you up to what you've been ignoring. Let it remind you of the time you've been wasting. Let it show you how strong you really are. Now is not the time to fall apart. It's the time to fall in line with your purpose, with your vision, with your future. When Jim said, disgust is a powerful emotion. When you've had enough, you'll change. That's exactly what he meant. Not when someone convinces you. Not when she comes back. When you've had enough. Pain doesn't go away by itself. You either give it meaning or it gives you misery. You either put it to work or it will work against you. So today, take all of it. The heartbreak, the rejection, the silence, the confusion, and build something with it. Because when the pain finally fades, and it will, what matters is what you did with it. Let it not be wasted. Let it be your beginning. Let me tell you what most people do after someone leaves them. They fall apart. They retreat. They drown in self-pity. They scroll through old photos, reread old messages, replay old arguments. They tell themselves stories like, I wasn't enough, or I'll never find someone like her again. But I'm here to tell you that's not the way forward. That's not how you heal, and it's certainly not how you grow. Jim Rohn used to say, if you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree. That line might sound simple, but it holds so much truth. If someone leaves you, if life deals you a blow, don't just sit there hoping the world will feel sorry for you. Don't wait for closure. Don't wait for apologies. Take that pain and decide, I'm going to become someone better than I've ever been. You see, your greatest response is not a reaction. Your greatest response is growth. You don't win by shouting louder, by proving your point, or by playing games to get her attention. You win by doing the one thing that no one expects, elevating yourself. You want to make her notice? You want to make her second guess leaving? Then become so focused on your growth, so obsessed with your evolution, that you don't even notice she's watching anymore. Because the truth is, when you grow, everything changes. Your mindset changes. Your posture changes. Your energy, your confidence, your direction, all of it rises. But it starts with a decision. A very personal, very private decision to say, I will not let this break me. I will build from this. That's how real men respond. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with purpose. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Not to her. Not to your friends. Not even to the version of yourself that's hurting right now. All you have to do is become who you were meant to be, and that will prove everything. Growth is quiet. Growth is personal. It happens when no one's watching. In the early mornings and the late nights, in the moments where you could choose distraction, but instead you choose discipline. It happens when you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? Here's a little truth Jim would approve of. Life doesn't respond to need. Life responds to seed. You can cry all you want. You can beg the world for another chance. But unless you plant something new, a new habit, a new mindset, a new goal, nothing is going to grow. So plant. Plant discipline. Plant commitment. Plant a powerful morning routine. Plant a vision that's so strong, the pain doesn't disappear, it just doesn't matter as much anymore. Because here's the real revenge. A fulfilled life. A life where you look in the mirror and say, I didn't just survive that season, I transformed in it. That's what growth does. That's what silence and space and heartbreak are meant for. They are not punishments, they are invitations. An invitation to rise, to rebuild, to reset. And when you do that, you'll thank the pain. You'll thank the silence. You might even thank her, not because she came back, but because her leaving pushed you toward your destiny. So don't waste this season. Don't let it end with tears and excuses. Let it be the spark that ignites your growth, because that, my friend, is how you truly win. You grow in silence, you rise in strength, and one day you look back and realize this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of everything good. Let's talk about standards. You see, most people don't realize this, but every single day, whether you know it or not, you are teaching the world how to treat you. Not with your words, but with what you tolerate, with what you allow, with what you accept without question. And in relationships, especially in love, your standards don't just shape the relationship, they shape you. Jim Rohn said, you get in life what you tolerate. That's one of those truths that hits hard when you've been through something painful, like a breakup, a betrayal, or someone walking out on you. You start to look back and realize maybe it wasn't just that they left. Maybe it was that you stayed silent when you should have spoken. Maybe it was that you bent your own rules just to keep the peace. Maybe you lowered your standards little by little until one day you didn't even recognize what you stood for anymore. You see, standards are like a thermostat. They set the temperature for your life. And if you're always lowering the dial to make someone else comfortable, eventually you'll freeze yourself out. That's not love. That's self-neglect dressed up as loyalty. And that never ends well. Now I know how it happens. You care. You want it to work. You tell yourself maybe this is just a phase. You give more chances. You silence your gut. You dismiss your intuition. But here's what I've learned. When you violate your own standards just to keep someone, you end up losing both. You lose the relationship and you lose yourself. So when she leaves, don't just ask, why did she go? Ask, why did I stop showing up for my own values? Because that's where your real power is. Not in fixing her, not in changing the past, but in redefining your standards. From this moment on, raise the bar. Not in a prideful way, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Decide what you will no longer tolerate from others and from yourself. Because standards aren't just about who you let into your life. They're about the way you treat yourself when no one's watching. Raise your standards in your health. Stop calling it stress eating and call it what it is, self-sabotage. Raise your standards in your time. Stop saying yes to distractions that pull you further from your goals. Raise your standards in your thoughts. Don't let your mind be a playground for doubt and self-pity. Train it, discipline it, strengthen it. And when it comes to relationships, let me say this clearly. The right person won't require you to sacrifice your standards. The right person will inspire you to raise them even more. So if someone left because you finally drew a line, that's not a loss. That's a lesson. That's a graduation. That's the universe saying, you're finally ready for more. Jim Rohn used to remind us, if you want to attract attractive people, you must become attractive, not just in looks, but in values, in strength, in vision. So let this season shape you into someone who attracts not just attention, but alignment. You've got one life, one shot at becoming the strongest, clearest, most focused version of you. Don't waste it living below your potential just because you were afraid to be alone. Being alone is not the enemy. Living without standards is. So stand up, look yourself in the mirror, and say, from this moment on, I raise my standards and I rise with them. Because when you do that, You won't have to chase love. The right love will find you standing tall exactly where you were meant to be. She may have left. Yes. And that might hurt. It probably does. The silence, the absence, the sudden shift from we to me that can shake a man. But let me remind you of something you might have forgotten in all that noise inside your mind. Your purpose didn't leave with her. Your calling didn't walk out the door. Your potential didn't pack its bags. The mission you were born to fulfill, it's still here, patiently waiting for you to wake up and chase it. Jim Rohn used to say, you cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. That's where the power lies. Not in begging someone to stay, not in trying to rewind the tape, but in realizing that while you might have lost someone, you haven't lost everything. In fact, you've still got the most important thing, you. And now, maybe for the first time in a long time, you have the space to hear your own thoughts, the freedom to move without compromise, the clarity to see what you've been avoiding. Because let's be honest, sometimes we get so wrapped up in the yous that we neglect the me. We put our dreams on hold, our priorities in the background, our ambitions in storage, all in the name of love. But when that person leaves, it's not just heartbreak, it's an awakening. Now is not the time to sit still. Now is the time to rise, to move, to build, to remember what it felt like to be inspired, to go after something not for her, not to prove a point, but because it matters to you. See, purpose doesn't expire. It doesn't vanish when someone exits your life. If anything, moments like this bring it into sharper focus. When the noise quiets down and the distractions walk away, you're left with your core, your essence, your reason for being. And let me tell you, there is no pain deep enough to bury that. You might have thought she was your whole world, but that was never the case. She was part of your story, not the whole story. And now, your story needs a new chapter. One where the hero doesn't need saving. One where the hero becomes the author. Your purpose is not tied to who stays. Your purpose is tied to who you become. And becoming doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when everything is perfect. It happens in these very moments, when your back is against the wall, when the tears won't stop, when the future feels uncertain, and you choose to take one more step anyway. That's when your destiny starts unfolding. Not when things go your way, but when you keep going anyway. Now let me be clear. This isn't about forgetting her or pretending the pain isn't real. It's about refusing to let her leaving define your story. Because no matter who walks away, the one thing no one can take from you is your commitment to growth, your decision to keep moving, your willingness to rebuild. Jim always emphasized the power of becoming. The greatest value in life is not what you get, it's what you become. And maybe that's what this moment is really about. Not loss, not ending, but becoming. Becoming the kind of man who doesn't fold under pressure, who doesn't shrink when someone leaves, who doesn't give up just because the picture changed. So stand up, shake the dust off, wipe the tears if you need to, and then get back to work on yourself, on your vision, on your life. Because she may have left, but your future hasn't. And if you'll rise up and meet it, you'll find something far more powerful than anything you lost, yourself.